Sports as on Challenge of Power. It's the excitement of power that puts man on the edge and the quest for victory that takes him over. For the past 30 years, monster trucks have been roaming the United States looking for the ultimate place to play. Now they may have just found that perfect playground, the Music, Entertainment, and Sports Activities Park in Fellsmere, Florida. Hi everybody, I'm Doc Riley, and welcome to Mesa Park for the Monster Truck Rock and Roll Galaxy debut in Sprint DCS. Stay tuned. We will feel the Earth move next on Wheel Power. Welcome back to Wheel Power. Mesa Park is simply the Music, Entertainment, and Sports Activities Park, and it's located on Florida's east coast, about 100 miles south of Daytona Beach, right off of I-95. Mesa Park is best known for its swamp buggy races, but the park has changed its look. The swamp racing track has been drained, and 8 of the nation's best monster trucks have gathered to do battle on this half-mile track. Now, monster truck racing has come a long way in the past 30 years, and unlike conventional side-by-side monster racing, each pair of awesome monsters will start on opposite sides of the track. Now, yes, there will be flying and crushing and racing each other, but the high-flying finish line will be in the middle of the last set of cars on each side of the track. It's different, and it is exciting. But before we dive into the racing action, Scott Hartsock, driver of the Florida-based Gunslinger, sets up our unique monster truck racing course.
Well, out here at Mesa Park, for instance, we're running a half-mile oval track. We've got multiple jumps out here. This dirt, it's usually flooded with water, so the dirt's very tacky, which gives us a great acceleration. And for a track like this, you got to come in here, and what we like to do is we like to tighten up our front springs on the front shocks a little bit, because once they come down, we're going to nosedive the truck to get into a corner real fast, and we're going to have to turn. And in this case, it's going to be like almost like a sprint car. We're going to get in there, and we're going to try to hook this truck around it. It's a big sweeping turn, which is really not that big of a problem. But when you accelerate a 10,000-pound truck into a big turn like that, it's wanting to lean on you. So you need the spring rate to kind of counter it, and plus give you a little bit of buffer there of giveness, because as soon as you come out of that turn, you've got a pretty steep jump, and then you've got the finish line, which happens to be about 5 cars. So in a case like this, we want to put a lot of fuel to the motor, because we want to keep it cool, because these things are alcohol motors, like we said. It's big, it's bad, and it's fast.
A challenge released our 8 monster truck drivers who set to take the challenge from the Chevrolet camp, the Monster Patrol, with Guy Wood behind the wheel. He will be matching up against this tough-running Dodge, the ground pounder, Steve Woodward out of Ozark, Alabama. He sets the challenge that awaits him.
Track's pretty tough. It's a little unusual than what I'm accustomed to. It's a sandy soil. I run north. There's not a lot of sand. It's pretty tough. We run into the turns. Back end of the trucks want to spin out from under us. We're really having to fight it hard to hold it underneath us. We hit the jumps, it lands, it wants to spin around a little bit in the sand, but I think we got it down pat now. We changed a little air pressure. I think we're going to be okay. Like I said, it's a long course. We're running some fast speeds, but I think we're going to be okay on it.
The ground pounder Dodge will line up on the front stretch. Again, they're taking a half lap here to their finish line. Steve Woodward out of Ozark, Alabama, in that good-looking Dodge. We're going to have a couple of good matchups here, including this one, the Monster Patrol. This is Guy Woods out of Blackwell, Missouri. He lines up now on the backstretch. The big wing on the back of that big Chevrolet. A Dodge versus Chevrolet matchup here at the Mesa Park Rock and Roll Weekend. We give you a little split screen as they start back off. Again, the ground pounder on the front stretch, and on the back stretch starting off is the Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol with a pretty good advantage, but noses over just a little bit. The ground pounder Dodge appears to be flatter as it makes its way into the turn. Extreme rugged conditions these guys are racing across here. The Monster Patrol looks like it's going to take it all in stride. The ground pounder trying to make up for some lost time there. Your winner, Guy Woods, in the Monster Patrol, as he picks up the first win of the weekend. We're going to get set to race underneath the stars here at Mesa Park. And a good look at Guy Woods in the beautiful-looking Chevrolet Monster Patrol. The Bowtie Brigade picks up a round number 1 win, and our Matt Graney will talk with the winner here in round number 1.
All right, I got Guy here at Monster Patrol. How did Monster Patrol run for you on that run?
Running pretty good. We just need to get this track a little better dialed in. It's a pretty tough course out there. It's pretty bouncy from the ride, you can see.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer than you used to, but how'd the sand and how'd the turns handle for you?
Oh, the turns are perfect. They could dig in the sand and worked out really good.
All right, we'll see you in the second round, guys.
Hey,
Get him.
Another good matchup here in another Chevrolet representing the Bowtie Brigade. Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, against, look what came out of the swamp, the Reptoid, Jimmy Jack out of Milton, Florida.
Yeah, the track here, this is a real long, big track for us. It's an oval track. It's a lot of fun. We got a lot of obstacles. We got 3 jumps on each side to do, and sandy soil, and with a lot of variations, and I really enjoyed it. It makes it a driver's course, which makes it a lot more fun than just all horsepower. You got to have the horsepower, but you got to be able to handle it out there on the course to pull off a win, and I really like that idea.
An interesting comment there, a driver's track, and it has not been an all-horsepower track here. The Reptoid set to sink the teeth into the mile of mayhem here, and Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, one of the best in the business. This guy's been all over the United States and has picked up a number of wins in all kinds of different tracks. This one will be completely different for both of these drivers. Split screen here to show you Gary Porter on the front stretch, and the Reptoid starts off on the back stretch. Porter right now with a decided advantage, gets a whole lot of air there, makes his way now around the corner, very gingerly around the corner, up, and the Reptoid trying to make up for some lost ground. Gary Porter flies the set of cars. Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, your winner. And the Reptoid catching a little air in Florida. Well, the Reptoid driver did say it was going to be a driver's track, and this driver, the Mac Tool-sponsored Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter, horsepower and a driver's track, as he picks up a win in round number 1.
Pretty good. It's going to be a fast track, and I wasn't certain what that second set of cars was going to do down there. Seemed like it got a lot of air. The truck went a little crooked, but it landed and recovered pretty good. And that turn's a little tricky down there, but I think we'll get the hang of it before the night's over with.
All right, I saw you kind of right flat top across the cars, and boy, did you catch some air off that third jump.
Yeah, it sure did. You can get a lot of my air. I was in high gear, but I was running about half throttle that run, and I think as the night progresses, we'll get even faster.
All right, we'll see you in the second round.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
An interesting prediction for maybe more speed. How about another Dodge, the Rampage, Jeff Patterson out of Madisonville, Kentucky. Up against a Ford, Prime Time, Kevin Allen, a home state hero out of Lutz, Florida.
Well, the track's a little different. It's a lot longer than we usually run on, but we pull up the track, we just got to make sure we're in line all the way down through the track and not just one set, but to the first set and the second set. You just got to take your time and go over and just take each jump as it comes.
Easy does it, the philosophy out of the Prime Time. Kevin Allen gets set to run here. Allen on the backstretch. That's where he will start from. And on the near lane, it'll be the Rampage Dodge Ram. Jeff Patterson, all the way from Madisonville, Kentucky, lines up his Dodge. A Dodge versus Ford battle here in round number 1. Twilight falling here in Fellsmere, Florida. And we give you the split screen once again. The Dodge in the near lane on the front stretch. And on the far side, problems with the Prime Time. Easy does it, he said, one jump at a time, while the Rampage is flat-out aggressive tackle on the course here in Fellsmere, Florida. Easy around the corner in the Rampage, set to go hammered down again. Easy with the first jump, problems for Prime Time. Missing the backstretch obstacle, a walkover here. The Rampage moving on to the next round as the high-flying Dodge picks up a victory here in round number 1. Problems for Prime Time, the Rampage moves on to the next round. This track has been very challenging for all of our drivers here. Jeff Patterson picks up an easy win in round number 1. Let's hear it for the Dodge boys. The final matchup in round number 1 pairs a couple of very aggressive drivers. Scott Hartsock and the Gunslinger Ford getting set to tee it up. He will match up against the Barefoot. And driving it, Mike Dropick out of Anchorage, Alaska. He is set, ready to go, right and tight.
This track here is a pretty difficult one. It's a high-speed course. It's one of the longer tracks we've run. We've got a half-mile to run around here with 3 roller jumps in the front. We have to make a long sweeping turn around the back stretch, and then 3 jumps in the backside. And we're going to be hitting speeds of about 60 to 70 miles an hour. And the key is going to be keeping the truck straight, keeping it down on the ground as much as possible.
Interesting comment there for Mike Dropick, keeping it down on the ground. Let's see if we can do that with the world-famous Barefoot, formerly owned by Fred Schaefer. The Gunslinger, Scott Hartsock, in his home state right now, a very aggressive driver, and he has come a long way in the past year, wheeling this big Gunslinger mega-powered Ford. A Ford versus Dodge matchup. The Barefoot in Veneer Lane near the grandstand. Gunslinger out back. And look at these guys attack this course. Hartsock right now a little out of control in the Gunslinger. And the same for the Foot. They make it back around. Boy, I tell you, they are really putting it down in this course right here. The Gunslinger makes the turn. Almost perfect. Lining up for the final set of jumps in the front stretch. It appears to be the Gunslinger going to pick up the victory here on a Friday night. Problems for the Barefooties. He gets a little bit out of shape. They'll put Scott Hartsock into the winner's circle in round number 1. At least one Ford moving on into the next round. Scott Hartsock picks up the victory, and he will move on to round number 2. A beautiful night for Monster Truck Racing here. Scott Hartsock talks about his win in the Mega Power Gunslinger Ford.
Woo, I heard that. What do you think there, Scott?
Hey, that's a long way around this Mesa Park complex here, and all I can say is, this Mega Power Car Care Products, PSP, drive shaft slinging, monster truck, Mega Powered Gunslinger got the job done first round. At Barefoot's hard to beat, but we did what we had to do, and hopefully we can do it one more time against the Carolina buddy over there, Carolina Crescent.
It looks like he had you a little bit there at the start. You kind of flew across the jumps, and that Ford car flew story at the end.
Hey, that's right. It's packed with them big guns. We can come up behind him and pull the big trigger on him, and that's the way it's done.
We'll see you in round 2.
Thank you.
Round number 1 is in the books, and we'll be back with round number 2. We'll look at the matchup as the Galaxy Paging Sprint PCS Rock and Roll Weekend continues from Mesa Park. Stay tuned as Wheel Power continues. Welcome back to Wheel Power in Fellsmere, Florida. A beautiful night in Florida's East Coast at Mesa Park. What a big weekend this is, the Rock and Roll Weekend. Trucks of all kinds of sizes and all kinds of shapes taking place here. The Rough Trucks. These are daily drivers, street-driven trucks. Guys just coming out and having a good time, bragging rights, proving whose truck is the best. They get set to stage the monster trucks here. A look at our Rough Trucks. They tackle the tough Fellsmere, Florida track. Doesn't it look fun? Now back to the big trucks, moving into round number 2. Gary Porter takes his Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. Matching up against a young gun, the Rampage, Jeff Patterson out of Madisonville, Kentucky.
The track, it's a pretty tough track here. The sand, you want to dig a lot, pretty well. You're biting pretty hard, so it's kind of tricky on the track. You feel it pulling and bogging quite a bit more than normal than what you would feel. You can feel the power come in, but the track's pretty long. Usually we got a roller about 50 feet, and then we usually spur up for about 5 cars. Well, we've got pretty well close to 100 feet between this roller and these cars, so you get some pretty fast speed built up. This is a real fast track. You've got another setup. You've got another car after the 5 cars, so it's pretty tough. When you're going that kind of speed, it's hard to keep these monster trucks lined up to square up on that ramp. If you miss that ramp, you're in big time trouble. And
this track carrying a lot of speed according to all the drivers. Remember, this is a swap buggy track. It's been trained for monster truck racing. Gary Porter, he'll line up on the backstretch right now, and it doesn't appear that the starting line in either the front or the backstretch holds any advantage for any of the drivers. It is the key, however, of keeping the truck straight. On the front stretch, the Rampage. The backstretch, the Carolina Crusher. Both drivers appear to have a pretty good start. And as they head over the first set of obstacle cars, we're catching some big air here at Mesa Park. Keeping the truck straight. Look at Gary Porter as he rounds the corner here in the truck. Now he's on the front stretch, heading towards the finish line. Keeping it under good control there. Gary Porter picks up round number 2 win. He'll move on to the finals. Chalk one up for the Bow Tie Brigade here at Mesa Park. And Gary Porter, a familiar trip for him as he moves into another victory lane. Just one win away from a championship night here at Mesa Park.
Gary, how'd that run compared to your first one?
Well, it felt really good. I think I might have been a little bit slow with that run. That was the first time I had been slowed back on the back straight away and didn't know exactly what I was going to do. But I've run on both lanes now. Both of them feel good, and I want to turn loose coming to the final.
All right, so the 2 lanes are pretty even then. It's not an advantage one versus the other.
No, I don't think so. I think they did a pretty good job building both lanes even here. Side, I really don't have a preference. Just either lane.
As long as you cross that line first.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure the finals is going to be a tough match here, and we're going to just have to go out and do the best we can.
Who's going to match up against that North Carolina boy? Could it be Scott Hartsock in the Gunslinger? Been charging hard all night long, putting that Ford horsepower to the test. Or will it be the Chevrolet of Guy Woods and the Monster Patrol? This truck, lots and lots of horsepower.
We came out here to race. We looked at the track. The track looked like it would be a long track. We were kind of concerned about heat buildup. Actually, the ramps are smooth. The turns were good. We could cut into them nice and hard, especially with the sand. It's actually helping us. Sometimes sand can be against us to help us roll over. In this case, it's not. It's a good, fast track. A lot of action.
A lot of action is what we're looking for here. Guy Woods, Blackwell, Missouri in the Monster Patrol. The big wing there, a very well-balanced vehicle. Aggressive driver here this weekend. Out of the 8, I like the old Gunslinger here. The Ford taking on the Chevrolet. Hartsock ready to go to work. Gunslinger in the near lane on the grandstand side. On the back stretch starting is the Monster Patrol. And look at Hartsock go to work, catching all kinds of air. A little out of shape there, but quickly getting it back under control. And the Monster Patrol, you heard Guy Woods say, keep it low to the ground. The Gunslinger ripping it up here in front of the front stretch. He is your winner as the Monster Patrol trying very valiantly to pick up the win. But your winner, the Gunslinger. Scott Hartsock moving to the finals of the Galaxy Paging Sprint TCS Rock and Roll Weekend. A Ford versus Chevrolet final. Oh, it will be a good one.
And what, you did just catch some air off that last jump. I saw you get a little squirrely one going one way or the other.
Yeah, we sure did. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull that one out. It's soft dirt down there, so you wanted to slide a little bit. But, hey, we come in here cock-locked and ready to rock, and let's go ahead and stampede this place.
Talkers next. What do you think?
Hey, I like them Carolina boys. There ain't nothing better than going out there and spanking the little old hiney and sending them back to Carolina crying.
Sounds like a war. Watch out.
Okay, Monster.
I got 2 of the best in the world right here, John. I got Carolina Crusher, and I got Gunslinger. What do you guys think? What about the track so far?
Hey, it's awesome. It's big, it's long, it's bad. It's one of them places you never expect to come here and see such a big track. And we had to do a gear change. We geared up for it, and so far so good. We've done well. And, I got Gary next round, the finals, and it's showtime.
The first ever finals at the Mesa Park here, Sprint Invitational Galaxy Paging. What do you think, Gary?
Well, first, I'm very proud to be invited down here, the first part, of this race. And, the truck's been running good. It's a long track. We geared up for it also. And, I know Scott's going to be running hard here in front of his hometown crowd, the home state crowd. And, we're going to try to keep those Gunslinger down.
All right, have you made any changes since round 1 or round 2 for the finals here to take care of Gunslinger?
Oh, not really. We've just been watching all the other guys run and trying to get this track figured out.
The finals are here. The first round of the Rock and Roll Weekend. Gary Porter is set to go to work. Up against the 4 of the Gunslinger and Scott Hartsock. Both guys know what they've got to do here. Hartsock has been very aggressive. Porter may take it a little easy off the line and may keep the truck a little bit closer to the ground. Again, if you fly the truck too high, you're losing time, you may be going faster. But this has been the case for this over-aggressive driver here. Hartsock's really been putting it on the line. Would love to pick up a win here at the inaugural Sprint TCS Galaxy Paging Invitational. Hartsock on the backstretch. That's his starting spot. And on the front stretch will be Gary Porter. Both drivers off to a very good start. Porter right now seems to be a little bit more in control. Hartsock really laying it on the edge. Here comes the Blue Oval Bunch. Representative Scott Hartsock flying it high. Gary Porter also coming high. Down the stretch they come, and out of control is Hartsock. He misses the last set of jump cars. Gary Porter picks up a win, and instead of victory lap, he'll take the Carolina Crusher right up in front of the grandstand. Gary Porter picks up a win in the Carolina Crusher here at Belvedere, Florida.
Gary, wow, one heck of a race. What do you say?
Who won?
It was too close, but I think the Carolina Crusher took it.
I'll tell you what, it was close. I knew Scott was going to be running hard. You know, I tried to, sort of slow down over that number one car right there so I wouldn't get as much air and then stay in the throttle and go around that curve, as fast and consistent as I could. And, I just let it all hang out on that back straightaway.
It sure paid off. You're the first ever champion of the Mesa Park Invitational. What do you think?
Hey, thanks. I'd like to thank all these great fans for coming out. We'll be looking for you again on Sunday.
Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter.
Congratulations from Dallas Stadium, TCS.
So Gary Porter picks up the hardware, the winner of the inaugural Galaxy Paging Sprint TCS Rock and Roll Weekend at Mesa Park in Belvedere, Florida. I'm Doc Riley. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again real soon with another edition of Wheel Power.